Okay, in this video, this is actually going to be a 5-part series. This is going to be the most detailed coin pusher how-to video on the internet. It's going to be so detailed. I'm going to show you how to lay it out. I'm going to show you how to lay it out on your 4x8 sheets. We'll get a close-up of that here in a minute. How to lay it all out where you don't waste no material at all. Very little waste on this. But we'll go into part 1, building the full-size cabinet and paint. Part 2, install pusher tray, install the motor and the side trays. Part 3, the switches, the buttons, power supply, and LED lights. Part 4, edge banding, hinges, glass, and lights. Part 5, wiring it all together and testing. That's the 5-part series we're going to do. This is a car channel and I would kind of like to do this project, so we're going to do it. There's really no good videos out there on how to do this. And everybody that does have a little bitty small, even a tabletop coin pusher, they're wanting to know, how do you build that? How do I do that? How'd you do that? I want to build it. I want to buy it. So we're going to go to full details on how to do that. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of trouble. Well, I don't think it's going to be that hard to build. I'll get a close-up of this. And I'm also going to show you how once you do have all this laid out, we're going to get the car out of here. Going to bring in the wood. And by the way, with all the shortages going on right now, I had a hard time getting any MDF. That's the kind of material used like for speaker boxes and stuff like that. So I couldn't get 3/4. They couldn't get none in. I wanted to order some and they couldn't get it in. So I'm going to wind up building this out of 1/2 inch. Now if you can get 3/4 inch MDF, that's what I would do. But I would have to drive 50 miles plus to go get some. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to try to make it out of, this is going to be a home version of the machine. So I think I can get by with making it out of 1/2 inch MDF. This pattern is for 2 sheets. Your big part, your sides, that is side 1 and side 2, or side right and side left. So keep in mind, these plans are for 2 sheets. Okay, I'm going to go through this. This is your side panel, rights and lefts. This is 68 inches tall. This right here is 10 inches deep. This right here is 31 inches. Okay, whenever I start laying out my boards, I'm going to start on this far side over here. This is your bottom shelf times 2. That's top and bottom sheets. This is the front door of the cabinet. And also the middle shelf. It's got to be 24 inches wide by 32 inches. This is bottom shelf times 2 pieces, 2 parts. So it's going to have a seam in the middle of the bottom shelf, which ain't going to be no problem. That's how you had to lay it out in order to maximize your material without having to buy any more sheets than you have to. Okay, this section over here, this is your bottom back panel. This would fit right back here. That's times 2. So that would be your top and your back. That would fit right here and right here. Right here is your top shelves times 2. That'd be your very top one and your middle one right here. So this is your baseboards. These go right down in here on your base of your cabinet, and then your bottom shelf will fit down on top of them. We'll get into that later. This is where you can cut strips. Going to take lots of strips to hold the glass and the doors in. And this is for your side tables that goes next to the pusher tray. And this one right here, this one is for the top front panel. The very top front panel right here. This is where your speakers would go if you're going to put them in. And also we're going to put one right in here. This is where your glass would connect to, a short one right here. That will be for the power switch, your stop, your skill stop button. We're putting that in. And also that's where your coins will go in, right in this one. That's what this strip right here is for. I got strips or baseboard, and then I changed it. This needs to be for your front panel here. See, that's, these squares is equal to 2 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8 inches. And actually we need to make 8 inches. Yeah, that should work. Okay, this is your baseboards. That's your long ones that goes along the back sides here. And your short ones are going to be the ones for the front of the cabinet. They're only going to be 24 inches. Okay, when you cut these shelves right here, you need to cut them just a little bit over 2 inches. Plexiglass is what I'm going to use, and it's exactly 24 inches. So you need to make this just a little bit bigger than 24 inches. 24 inches and a quarter, 1/16. It just needs to be a little bit bigger than 2 foot. But we'll get into that as we start building. And we're going to go get the wood. It's in my enclosed trailer out back. I bought that a couple weeks ago. I didn't want it in the way. So we're going to go grab that, and I got the car out of the way, and we're going to lay it on the ground, and we're going to get all this marked out. May not get it cut out today, but we're at least going to get this all measured, and we're going to get it all ready to cut out. But like I say, each one of these squares is equal to 2 inches. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 inches. And this is 10 inches. I believe this is 12 inches tall. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 inches tall, 10 inches deep. So if you got any questions on this, just put them down in the comments and I'll answer them within 24 hours. According to your plans, this is upside down. So I don't really have room. I guess I could move the golf cart. But keep in mind this is upside down. Right up there is the top of the machine. It comes down got everything laid out. That far corner is your backboards, your tops and bottoms. This right here in the middle, that's your top shells. That's your baseboards. And you cut strips out of this. That one right there that the tape measure's laying on. And then over here, this is your side table. And that over there is your side table. This right here is the top front panel. That's where your speakers will go. This is your baseboard. That's your long baseboard. It goes through it'd be through this, be on the bottom side down there. This right here is your door and your middle shell. This will be your playing field and your front door. Right here is your bottom two shells. Bottom two shells, you'll have to piece it together. That's the best way to do it to maximize your material. Bottom shelf, it ain't gonna matter. I had to do it that way in order to get the front door cut out. Otherwise you wouldn't have enough material to do it any other way. Took me a lot of time to figure out how to get all this laid out to maximize your material so you don't waste anything. Okay, you do have to have a good T-square, like a sheetrock square. That's very important to make sure you got good square cuts. Right where the tape measure's laying, that's your middle mark. That's your 4 foot. Right here's your 4 foot line. So there is going to be a way of cutting this out, so you have, first thing we're going to do, we're going to cut off on the second line. This would be your shells. We done went through that, shells, and this would be your baseboard. So this would be your first cut right here. That goes to the top of the machine. Get a good clean cut right here. And then we'll go through the rest of the cuts a little bit later when we actually do it. I got this all laid out today, so I'm ready to take a break, and this is a Sunday. I'm ready to go watch some football. So I'm going to get this thing cut out tomorrow. Okay, this is the way it's laid out right now. It's upside down, but that's the way it's laying right now. Okay, I'm setting up for my first cut. I got my boards all nice and even all the way around. If you want to cut 2 at a time, probably the best way to do it. Get your saw set up where it just barely cuts the thickness of your material. You just barely feel it down here. We're going to start with this line right here. This is going to be our first cut. So I'll get plugged in. Let's go. Okay, that's our first cut. Now we'll set up for the next one. Another thing I might add, make sure you label all your parts so you know what they are when you cut them out. Otherwise, you're not going to be sure what they are. So that's a good idea to put you some blue masking tape or something on it and mark them. I just marked it on the wood itself. That way when I get it cut out, I know exactly what it is. Okay, the next cut's going to be right down towards the middle. It's going to be on the front side of the machine right here. Run it straight up this way and right on past this bend right here. And once we get all this out of the way, then we'll come back to that one. That way you get your saw in there nice and straight. Cut this one. Then we'll cut past that and get this out of the way. So here we go. Well, I kind of got off here a little bit, but it's okay. As long as I stay good and straight along the front of the machine. This is for strips anyway, so it don't really make any difference. And right here, got double lines right here. I don't want to confuse on that. This shelf right here is supposed to be 2 foot, 24 inches. So when I got to measuring, I don't want to have to cut this piece again. So somehow I got off. Anyway, this right here is supposed to be my line right here. So I need to erase that one. So anyway, we'll go right to this line, go a little bit further, then we'll come up this way. In fact, we'll just go ahead and come up this way now. Cutting too good today, but that's all right. Okay, now we can get these two pieces out of the way. These are our baseboards, our strips, top shelf, and the bottom and the backboards. So move all this out of the way. Now we need to go ahead and cut out the rest of the machine. Okay, this is another real important cut. Keep it straight. Can't see what I'm doing, but other than that, it's okay. Need that light on the other side of me. Okay, our next cut's going to be across the front of the machine. It's where the glass is going to go. So everything's still nice and square. Okay, I need to go a little bit further. Okay, one more cut here. This is the very top of the machine right here. Another important cut. Gotta make sure we keep them good and straight. I think we got it. Come in here and finish it out. get no overcut on it. There's your rights and left on the machine. Stand it up, see what it looks like. There it is. I got it leaning on the garage door there. About the right size. It's looking good. Now before we put all of our parts together, we're going to take a sander and I'm going to sand them down. Sand all your edges. Make sure they're all good and smooth, but you don't want to round over unless you don't want to round over your corners or your edges if you're planning on using edge banding. Okay, what we got left here is I think we might save that little dab just for the table saw. I think that's what we'll do. We'll just run that through the table saw. Means we got the big pieces out of the way. And also them other pieces that we pulled off of there. It's a lot easier to run it on the table saw. I got a small table saw, but it works good. Okay, now we're going to start cutting out some more parts. Flip it around the other way. This is top shelf. This one is bottom and top back panels. Top and bottom back panels. Backboards. This one is the top shelf. This one is your 2-foot baseboard that goes along the front or the back. And this is just strips you can cut. You only want to run one board at a time through the table saw. If something gets twisted, or it will kick it back out at you. So you only want to run one board at a time in the table saw. Okay, your bottom boards are not going to be marked. So you want to do it next before you forget what it was. Okay, lay it on top like that. Take and mark it. Top. top backboard. The other one can be the bottom backboard. Okay, here's your other piece right here. This one will be your top shelf. Gotta have two of them. Get it all nice and square. Mark it out. Your baseboard, line it up. Baseboard, top shelf, I tell you, if you don't keep these marked, you're gonna wonder what they're for. I'll tell you. You can. Okay, we'll get this one cut out. Yeah, you don't want to run two pieces at a time through a table saw. That's asking for disaster. Okay, top backboard, bottom backboard. Now we got top shelf, baseboard, and the other ones are strips. This piece is your baseboard. This is your front door of the machine. And here's the bottom shelves. So we'll strip the baseboards first. Then we'll cut this one. Mark it. This is your door. This is going to be your middle shelf. Basically the same size. You might have to trim it off a little bit. You might have to come in here and trim a couple inches off, but we'll have to wait on that. And you also got to cut in an area about this big right here. That's where your motor's going to sit. Okay, I'll get this out of the way. Bring this line on down. This is for the toe board again. Okay. Get that one cut out. Center shell. And this one was the bottom shell. Gotta mark them. That way you know exactly where they go. We'll get the baseboard cut out first. Okay, this sheet is this is the side tables. This goes right next to the pusher. Let's see, that's the bottom shell. This is the top front panel right here. This is the part. This is the part of the very front. This might have your labels on it, your coin pusher, it might have your speakers in it. That's what this panel is. This is your side tables. Okay, I'm running out of time on my camera, so just set up your set them up the same. Side tables. This one probably actually went down here. Mark them out, cut them out. And this video is done on this side. This is cutting out the coin pusher. So we are done on with this video.